Hi, good evening. I'm Sandeep, and you are watching the Indian Weekender. Today, we are standing here in front of Mahatma Gandhi Center, and we are going to be in conversation with Mr. Narendra Bhana, who has been recently elected as the new president of New Zealand Indian Central Association. So he will be joining us very shortly. But before that, I would like to share a few thoughts about information about New Zealand Indian Central Association. For many of our friends who are relatively new migrants in this beautiful country, maybe around 10-15 odd years ago, they might have lost the importance or relevance of New Zealand Indian Central Association. This is one of the oldest parent association of community organizations of Indian community. So what it means that in New Zealand, in different cities, different rural areas, there are different types of Indian community organization. I'm standing here in Auckland, in the heart of Auckland, in Mount Eden. Here itself, this is an iconic building, Mahatma Gandhi Center, which is owned by Auckland Indian Association. Auckland Indian Association is the oldest community organization in New Zealand. Recently, they had completed their 100 odd years. 100 years of rich history, and NZICA, New Zealand Indian Central Association, which is the parent body of different community organization, as I said, that is 96-year-olds. So it tells you the level and the richness of the history that our Indian community has got over here. We are talking about of a period of 1920, 1924. At that time, we all know, India was not even independent. We were fighting our War of Independence with British colonial rule, and that just imagine how much history is here. So this iconic building that I'm talking about, Mahatma Gandhi Center, it was purchased by Auckland Indian Association in 1989 to give the Indian community their first or maybe their biggest center where they can come together and celebrate together their events, their cultural activities. हम 1980s, 1970s की जब बात करते हैं, उस समय लगभग 1974 में न्यूजीलैंड में इंडियन कम्युनिटी की जो पॉपुलेशन थी वो लगभग 5,000 लोगों की थी. आप सोच के देखिए, उस समय टेक्नोलॉजी से पहले, ग्लोबलाइजेशन से पहले, जब लोग या प्रवासी जो भारतीय हैं वो आके यहाँ रहते थे, उनके लिए कितना मुश्किल होता होगा एक नए कल्चर में आके बसना, एक दूसरे के साथ संबंध बनाना, अपने त्योहारों के साथ कैसे मनाना. सो उस दौर में हमारी इतनी पुरानी कम्युनिटी एसोसिएशंस बनी थी, ऑकलैंड इंडियन एसोसिएशन, न्यू जीलैंड इंडियन सेंट्रल एसोसिएशन, और इन एसोसिएशंस ने बहुत काम किया है हमारी भारतीय कम्युनिटीज़ के लिए, उनको यहाँ पर एक सम्मानीय स्थान दिलाने के लिए विद इन द न्यूजीलैंड पब्लिक लाइफ. So that is the importance of these organizations, NZICA. And now I am being joined by the newly elected president, Mr. Narendra Bhana. Hello, Mr. Bhana. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Sandeep. I'm good. How are you today?
First of all, I'm very good, thanks. First of all, many congratulations for being elected as the new president.
Thank you very much. It's my privilege to be a president of New Zealand Indian Central Association. It is a well-established organization, highly reputable, 96-year-old Indian community organization who is a parent body of all Indian associations throughout New Zealand. So it is my absolute honor to be a president of New Zealand Indian Central Association.
Surely it is. And just to let our viewers know that Mr. Bhana is the former president of Auckland Indian Association, which, as I have said earlier, is the oldest one. So he brings in a lot of experience, I would say a lot of leadership experience within Kiwi Indian community. So, सबसे पहले नरेंद्र भाई, what we would like to know is what's going to be different for you in this position of leader of NZICA from being the former president of Auckland Indian Association.
Yes, sure, Sandeep. New Zealand Central Indian Association, my vision for New Zealand Indian Central Association is to bring in fresh ideas, introduce technology and modern business ideas to stimulate growth within the organization.
Right, okay. And from what I know that in last couple of years, NZICA has been trying hard to indulge in kind of thought revolutionation kind of thing, to revitalize, if that's the word, and to connect with our new or the recent migrants in this country. So उस drive को आप कैसे आगे बढ़ाएंगे?
Yeah, so if you look at Indian community over the last 10 years, obviously the community is continuously growing. Our needs are continuously evolving. So my vision would be to spend a lot of time identifying what the modern needs of our community is, what are the challenges, and also with these new migrants coming in, there are lots of other opportunities. So what I want to do is get to the root of these communities, or a lot of different community organizations, and find out what are the needs of our community, and then meet those needs for the betterment of our Indian community in New Zealand.
Sure. And I would understand that this involves understanding or understanding the basic problem of our migrant community. But one of the important thing is probably in the last 10-15 odd years, we have seen that there have been many other Indian community organizations which has come up. They have formed their own networks, their groups, people, they come together. But many of them may or may not have still come under the parent body of NZICA. So how do you see that issue, and what do you plan to do in that respect?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, within Auckland itself, there are a lot of Indian community organizations being formed. We see that every day. So one of our plan is to talk to these community organizations. There are new community organizations that they are being formed, and also look at their constitution. Obviously, from NZICA point of view, there are some constitutional requirements, and as long as the smaller community organizations or new community organizations meet those constitutional requirements, then we'll be more than happy to incorporate small community organizations into NZICA.
Right. Okay. And अगर मैं आपसे ये पूछूं, if I ask you that why a new migrant, suppose somebody who have arrived in the country on a student visa or maybe on a work visa, who have been in the country for say around 10-15 odd years only, why he should be joining any association, any community association, including NZICA?
Yeah, absolutely, Sandeep. Obviously, all these community organizations, especially at a national level, they've been formed to protect and preserve Indian culture in New Zealand. So our pioneers have done a lot of work to establish these community organizations so that new migrants like ourselves, we can benefit from this. For example, NZICA was established in 1926 to deal with challenges such as racism, employment issues, and various other challenges that Indians were facing at the time. So NZICA was formed to deal with those challenges for our Indian community. So if you look at Auckland Indian Association, it was formed to protect and preserve Indian culture in New Zealand. So our pioneers have done a lot of work to make sure that Indians maintain their well-being while they live in New Zealand. So
right.
it is.
So Narendra bhai, do you think those challenges, they are still relevant today, or our community is facing new challenges?
Our community is facing new challenges. Obviously, new migrants coming in, community is growing. When the community grows, the new challenges come with it. Also, there are a lot of new opportunities that come with it as well. So it is important for NZICA to identify those challenges, deal with it, and also identify those new opportunities that new migrants bring in. For example, a lot of new skill set that new migrants bring in. IT, a lot of our children are becoming scientists, they're becoming entrepreneurs, they're IT professionals, they're doctors, and so on and so forth. So it is important for a national body like NZICA to identify these opportunities, bring these children into our organization and start benefiting from their skill sets.
Surely. Well, yes, from gathering from what you are saying, and which is very important, that you come on, let's have a walk.
Yes.
So gathering from what you have been saying is that organizations like NZICA, they just don't deal with the problems and the issues of the new migrants. They deal with the issues of the settlers, I would say, once their life is settled, and they need to be connected with other things beyond their visas, beyond their immigration issues. So that is where probably bodies like NZICA is playing an important role, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. As I mentioned before, new migrants come in, they bring in new challenges. So it is important for NZICA to keep evolving as well. So this is one of the things that I will be bringing in myself, to deal with new challenges that new migrants bring in.
Right. Okay. Now, last 2 odd years have been very challenging for everyone in the New Zealand, including our communities, because of COVID. There was a lot of disruption, and hopefully, we might have seen the end of this pandemic. Fingers crossed. And if that happens, and then we are in a post-COVID environment, then what do you envisage? How things will unfold for the community, for your association, NZICA?
Yes, absolutely. It's a very exciting time for NZICA with new leadership coming in. I also have a team of highly experienced, capable, and more importantly, dedicated team of officers. For example, I have Manisha Murar, who is a vice president from Wellington. Been associated with NZICA for a very long time. Prakash Biradar, who is a general secretary, once again, very experienced, highly capable general secretary. Treasurer Hansa Naran from Pukekoi, she's been with NZICA for close to 10 years. Sure. And then I have Jay Randhawa from Waikato, been assistant secretary. Once again, he's been associated with NZICA for a very long time. So each one of these individuals are highly capable officers, and I'm quite looking forward to draw on their skill sets to make NZICA a better place for Indian community in New Zealand. So very exciting time ahead for NZICA, and I'm really looking forward to two things. One, identify those new opportunities and deal with the existing and new challenges.
Right. Okay. Well, I think that's a great vision to have. I wish you all the best for your endeavors. But before I let you go, if our members of community they want to be in touch with NZICA for any of their needs, how they can get hold of you?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, NZICA's office is at the Mahatma Gandhi Centre. Also, their website is they can contact us through website, and our emails and everything's available all the time.
Perfect, perfect. That's great. So thank you very much, Narendra Bhai. I really appreciate your time today. I understand that you will be very busy going forward. You wear multiple hats as well. So thanks for your time. I really appreciate. And yes, so continuing with our conversation, as we have heard from Narendra Bhai, that NZICA office is here just behind us in this iconic building of Mahatma Gandhi Centre. The reason that why we have chosen to have this conversation here is just to give you all an insight into the rich history of our Indian community over here. So you can sit back and appreciate that our community has deep roots here in New Zealand. And yes, we have a change of leadership in one of the oldest and the pan-New Zealand and the biggest, most reputable community association. Hopefully, we will see new winds of change and the betterment of our migrant community happening soon. So thank you very much. This is Sandeep along with our production team from Mahatma Gandhi Centre.